To respond to the title of this video, I'm going to say the smallest dinosaur, bee hummingbird, the bee hummingbird.
When we imagine the dreaded prehistoric creature,
Oh my goodness, there was no warning for this. It sort of came in out of nowhere. It completely caught me off guard.
we always have the idea of giant beings that could easily end up with anything in their path.
When the mainstream thinks of dinosaurs, the first thing they think of is the T-Rex, then the Velociraptor, which is not even big.
However, this time we show you the opposite. Stay with us to discover the smallest beings that occupied the Earth millions of years ago.
What do you mean, occupy?
Number 10. Lisowicia. This creature lived approximately 200 million years ago, mostly in what is now Africa. The small bipedal herbivore was known as an agile and fast runner, according to what is deduced based on his skeleton, which would help him escape his predators. On the other hand, he was also able to walk on all fours when he was looking for food.
Okay, I felt like that was like Origins Explain quality, but okay, it's just a different user. It's just a different user.
Action that was facilitated in view that he had 5 fingers on the front legs. Despite being considered an herbivore, it is also believed that in the absence of adequate plants for their diets, they chose to hunt smaller animals, which is why some even call it an opportunistic omnivore, measuring at approximately 6.6 feet long and only 3 feet high.
That is just the upper estimate. The lower estimate is half that long and half that tall.
It suggests the reason why this prehistoric animal had to adapt to survive. One of the most outstanding features of their discovery was that their fossils were in recessed position, because they could have died while they slept or hibernated, which shows that this reptile probably was not used to low temperatures. Number 9. Microceratops.
You mean the Microceratus?
This species lived in the Cretaceous period more than 140 million years ago in the Asian continent.
140 million years ago. It lived 90 million years ago, not 140 million years ago.
It was a bipedal herbivore, in view that its front legs were too short to hunt or obtain other types of food.
This is 100% not Microceratus. Maybe it's just a very outdated design, I don't know.
This dinosaur still maintains several aspects of itself a mystery, due to it having been discovered just recently. Much of its characteristics are mostly deductions. For example, that its diet included ferns and cycads because during the period that it inhabited, the floral plants were quite scarce because of the geographical limitations of that landscape. In addition, one of its most outstanding qualities was its tip-shaped mouth that they used to bite leaves and even thorns. In terms of its size, it reached about 2.6 feet in length,
Probably even shorter than that.
and was also one of the first species of dinosaurs with horns.
I don't see any horns. Well, it was one of the first ceratopsians, of course. Doesn't mean it has horns.
Number 8. Wannanosaurus. It was discovered in Anhui, China.
I'm from Hong Kong. I am Chinese. So let me pronounce Anhui correctly. Anhui.
And believed to have lived more than 80 million years ago.
It actually lived around 70 million years ago. More specifically, 72.1 to 69 million years ago.
Among its most striking physical features were its flat head and teeth. Adapted to eat all kinds of plants, unlike the vast majority of dinosaurs its size, it is believed to have been a slow animal compared to its predators like the Velociraptor.
I hate to break it to you, the Velociraptor and the Wannanosaurus did not live in the same formation. Therefore, they did not coexist with each other.
However, one of its peculiarities when escaping was that he took advantage of his flat and hard skull as a defense mechanism while hopping away. At the same time, it was also known for its small size, which, based on the fossils found, is estimated not to have been even 3.3 feet in length.
It is estimated that it has an overall length of around 60 centimeters, 2 feet.
And within the few remains of what had been an adult specimen at which 2 feet long were also found. Number 7. Parvursor remotus. This tiny species of dinosaur was found in the Asian continent and is believed to have lived 80 million years ago.
Okay, so this Parvursor lived in around 72 million years ago.
It was characterized by its long, thin legs which it used to escape from its predators. It's no surprise its name means small runner. On the other hand, their front legs being smaller are believed to have been used for small excavations in search of food, because they had long claws. However, they were not used as a defense mechanism, since they did not have high levels of flexibility. Regarding its size, it is deduced that this small species was around 11.8 inches long from the snout to the tail,
Around 39 centimeters long for the holotype. That's a juvenile.
and reached a weight of up to 5.64 ounces. It should also be noted that this species, although it is relatively new, not many specimens have been found, and it is even believed that there are more species of Parvursor that have not yet been studied in depth. Number 6. Anchiornis huxleyi. If any were skeptics when they heard that birds evolved from dinosaurs,
Okay, so as much as the media believes that T-Rex turned into a bird, no, that didn't happen. Even though the T-Rex is Coelurosaurian, just like birds, the T-Rex did not evolve into birds. This is a very common misconception.
this species is the best proof, since you only have to take a look to find the possible bloodline. Having lived in the Jurassic period approximately 155 million years ago,
It lived around 160.89 to 160.25 million years ago.
this dinosaur used to inhabit what is now known as Asia,
Its fossils have only been found in Liaoning.
and is one of the best found fossils of its era. In terms of its size, it only averages 13.39 inches in length and weighed between 0.24 and 1.54 pounds.
What other specimens are used? These estimates are clearly basically extreme at this point. The largest specimens had a mass of around 2.2 pounds. Also funny how this guy used 13.9 inches for the height instead of the length.
Physically, it could be said that it was a pretty colorful bird, and that it had long hind legs in principle would indicate that it could be a great runner, although being wrapped in feathers would deny this hypothesis since it would actually decrease its speed. On the other hand, having two types of wings, both front and rear, it is believed that this dinosaur could have had the ability to fly or at least plane.
Juvenile Anchiornis may have been able to use their wings to assist running up an incline, and could possibly have achieved flapping flight and a very high ankle flapping wing stroke was used. However, the larger adult specimens would not have gained any aerodynamic benefit from their wings. They were just too heavy compared to their total wing area.
However, due to the small size and shape of its feathers added to its unsymmetrical limbs, there is doubt about this species.
What kind of doubt about this species?
Number 5. Lagosuchus.
This is a dinosauromorph. This isn't a dinosaur.
This small species was found in Guacho lands and dates back to the Triassic period, approximately 230 million years ago.
More specifically, 236 to 234 million years ago.
This reptile is characterized by having a light texture and long and thin legs, which indicate that it usually walked on 4 legs. However, when threatened or realizing the presence of a predator,
Wow. Okay. That is... I don't even know how to describe it.
it would only use its rear legs to get as far away as possible. It should be noted that this flight could only be made for brief periods of time. Regarding its size, it is estimated that they measured approximately 11.8 inches, a fact that remains an assumption given that its remains to date are still incomplete. But don't let yourself get carried away by its measurements, since in spite of everything, it was probably a great predator, and it would not only use its speed to escape, but also when chasing prey. Number 4. Pisanosaurus.
Lagosuchus was a dinosauromorph, and it's a dinosauriform. Pisanosaurus as well.
This dinosaur species
This is a dinosauriform.
lived at the end of the Triassic period, and its fossils were found in South America in a province in Argentina to be more specific. Due to the small amount of material found, mainly its tail, its size is only a speculation, measuring 3.3 feet in length and approximately 1 foot in height. It was probably a bipedal herbivore as well as many within this size range. It was also quite fast, relying on its slender hind legs and its long tail that would give it perfect balance when running. And with that size, you couldn't expect less, since it would be an easy prey for any predator.
Any predator. Like, if I were to make a Microceratus pop out of existence and it's tasked with hunting something as small as Pisanosaurus, would it really want to hunt a Pisanosaurus if it would just waste energy hunting something that small?
Among its most outstanding features are its strong and compact teeth that allowed it to feed on quite resistant plants, typical of the semi-arid zone where they lived. Number 3. Micropachycephalosaurus 30cm.
Is 30cm a species name? Also, Micropachycephalosaurus likely only grew up to 1 meter when fully grown.
This dinosaur lived in the late Cretaceous period about 70 million years ago.
It lived at around the Campanian, which at latest was 72.1 million years ago.
Was a 22-pound heavy herbivore biped and was discovered in Shandong, a
It's called Shandong
province of China, and was newly described in 1978. Equipped with a reinforced skull that researchers can't yet indicate why, they debate theories going from the fact that it was used for competitions against other males in order to be able to mate, and even that it was used as a defense mechanism in the presence of predators.
You're answering its usages, not why it exists in the first place.
At the same time, several paleontologists affirm that it could have had striped skin to camouflage among plants at ground level, and view that its diet was based on leaves and roots at ground level. On the other hand, this reptile is characterized as well as everyone in this top for its small size, which ranged between 3.3 feet long and just 11.8 inches high, and ironically, has the longest name of all dinosaurs.
Because that's how paleontology works. Surprise, surprise.
Number 2. Epidexipteryx hui. Climbing up to the first positions, we found a small creature that barely reached 5 inches in height and was discovered in what is now known as China. As for the period in which this species walked the Earth, it has not yet been fully confirmed, as it is estimated that it could be ending the Jurassic period or at the beginning of the Cretaceous.
Guess what? It is in the Middle Jurassic. It lived in the Calovian age 164 million years ago.
This species was characterized for presenting a horny beak.
I've never heard of anyone describe a beak as horny before. Not that NSFW meaning, but just horned.
With rather long teeth with no edge. It is because of this that it is speculated that it would have been an insectivore. Also, it possessed thin and long hind legs which,
Yeah, this feels a lot like Origins Explained, but with more detail to the design.
Many species of small dinosaur, served him to escape from its predators. However, one of its most outstanding peculiarities were its long front legs that were equipped with extremely large fingers, which could have been used to climb trees both for food or as a second method of escape from any type of threat.
Including stuff like bacteria and viruses.
Also, another of its singularities was its strange tail, which should not be described as such, since it was replaced by 4 feathers. That would mean that it was used as a means of sexual attraction, similar to the mating rituals of a peacock.
Yeah, it's still called a tail.
Number 1. Epidendrosaurus.
Also known as the Scansoriopteryx. Scansoriopteryx and Epidendrosaurus are the same thing.
Located in the first spot and considered the smallest dinosaur that could have existed,
the smallest dinosaur that could ever live is the smallest dinosaur still alive right now. It's the bee hummingbird.
We found the Epidendrosaurus. This species inhabited the Earth at the end of the Jurassic period, approximately 147 million years ago.
Scansoriopteryx actually lived around 165 to 156 million years ago.
Based on the fossils found, it was determined that this being was only 4.7 inches tall and only 11.8 inches long. However, despite its size, it was not such a docile species since it was an omnivore.
Biologic, that means herbivores are docile. No.
Regarding its physical characteristics, its relationship with modern birds stands out with notoriety, since its front legs were composed of long, curved claws.
Also, the Scansoriopteryx did not look like that one portrait from that incredibly low quality, but somehow not the worst overall dinosaur documentary. I don't know, I forgot what the name of that documentary is, but yeah.
That at the time allowed it to climb trees in search of food. Based on this, many studies indicate that it could be the first step toward the evolution of wings of the current birds. Despite countless searches, the only sample found shows signs of having been a specimen that had not yet reached full maturity, so it follows that the size could vary, although it would not exceed the size of a sparrow. If now you don't think that all dinosaurs...
This is the end of the video. Honestly, what can I say about this video? There really isn't that much to say. Okay, it's just your average mainstream paleontology videos. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you all next time.